Yeah, we found a cure for the disease, but you can't get it because it costs so much.
And you have the disease, but like you're not eligible to get it.
Everything is interdisciplinary. Most people don't explore things in discrete ways. You need to understand science, you need to understand the impact on society, and then English is always the skill part. You need to read, you need to write effectively, you need to communicate, you need to articulate yourself. When those things are all integrated together, then it makes more sense for kids.
And hemoglobin slows down.
Our curriculum is designed around creating what we call expeditions. And expeditions are interdisciplinary. I think you get to far higher rigor and critical thinking if what you're doing is integrating and looking at the real problem.
We're going to talk about clinical trials and what that means, and how it connects to bioethics, which is the kind of broad topic of questions of conscience.
So in this expedition, there's really two big questions. What is the role of science and ethics in progress? And how do we communicate scientific information accurately?
What do we already know about sickle cell disease?
So yesterday's activity was really building up to what are people living with sickle cell disease experiencing, and giving them a background so that they could connect to the human piece of these are humans that are suffering with this disease, and there is a possibility for a cure for them or treatment.
We're gonna make the normal hemoglobin, and then we'll make the sickle.
I asked students to make one model, origami model of normal hemoglobin and what that would look like, the shape. And then I asked them to make a sickle mutated version.
The non-sickle cell, so it goes through.
Then the sickle cell can't go through.
So we were able to see that there is potential for blood clots. I want them to be able to communicate science in a way that is approachable and that is understandable.
So when we use the term ethics, we're talking about an attempt to define what is good for the individual and for society.
The New York Times published a piece around the first commercial patient to receive gene therapy for sickle cell. It's a 12-year-old boy. And they do a little bit of a reflection around if they or someone close to them was impacted by sickle cell, would they pursue this treatment? And then to think about pros and cons to that decision.
It may not always be like available since it is very limited.
Also, if it doesn't work, you just spend $3.1 million on something that didn't work.
So today was the first of many bioethical dilemmas in my class. We do maybe 4 or 5 over the course of the next several weeks. We'll focus on building on each other's ideas and then do the next one with another skill. You know, maybe it's like paraphrasing or doing more synthesis.
Everyone's body's gonna react to it differently.
I'm hoping that they're able to understand, you know, the science concepts we're talking about and to ask the hard questions and be able to consume scientific information.
Our students see the complexity of the world and its issues, and they wrestle with that, and they arrive at new ideas and new questions.
So I feel like if I had sickle cell, I would get the medicine, but a big con is you don't know what's gonna happen to you, and you like